Rock and roll. We are live. Are you on the chat? I'm not even on the chat. Are there people watching us? I'm going to assume there's people watching us.
Oh, yeah, there's people here. Tom's here. Sandra's here. Philip's here. Michael is here. Sounds like a great evening we have planned for
Yeah, we're going to have a
you.
lot of fun tonight. Yeah, we're actually going to play some songs, and I actually even practiced a little bit.
Oh,
And unfortunately, I just started wearing glasses. I'm 50 years old. I always had perfect eyesight. I could see like a hawk. And then I realized, when I first realized I needed glasses is when the TV at night, when I look at the guide channel, everything started getting blurry. So I can't see. And that means that I can't read the comments. And our 19-year-old little rapscallion has gone AWOL. So we're going to get through this. That's okay. No problem. I appreciate all you that are here. And we are going to talk about fingerstyle players tonight. Woo-hoo. And we're going to broaden that a little bit. Go ahead, Simon.
I was going to say, and this is going to be good because this is literally, I can't do fingerstyle. So
that's awesome.
So it's going to be a good challenge for me. So I'm quite excited about it, is the short answer.
So we're playing fingerstyle, and because Simon can't do it, I like that. That's good. What else can you do? That'll be the topic of next week's next video. You always get great sound, though. It's amazing.
Because it's you get a nice amp, a nice guitar, and you plug it in, and hey presto.
Tone is a mystery to me. Although I'll say this. So, and I want to hear from the people in the crowd here. So, isn't tone, when somebody says great tone, it's basically, it's a tube amp just at the point of break with a lot of reverb. Like every great tone is pretty much that, right?
Yeah. Reverb. Definitely reverb. You need the reverb.
Reverb and just.
I haven't got that much reverb on there. There's not much reverb.
Kind of like a bad reverb up there.
Cool.
Did we talk about on the last show? Did we talk about Get Back?
What, the Beatles thing?
Yeah. Has it been out for 2 weeks now?
We had a very short chat. So now I have seen episode 1 of Get Back, which I was very excited about, which was awesome. The best bit I thought was watching the Beatles be friends.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. And it just reminded me of, all the bands I've played in over the years. And, I remember when, like, not so much anymore, because I guess, like, bands I play in now, we don't really rehearse that much. Do you know what I mean? So, when we're rehearsing a record or putting together songs for a new record, we'll get together and we'll sit in a room with each other for 2 or 3 days and hash out arrangements and stuff like that, which is exactly like the Beatles thing. But when I was younger, like when I was in my 20s, I used to spend hours sitting in a rehearsal room with bands, and you'd muck about and you'd play stupid songs and all that kind of stuff. And it was just awesome. And it was great to see the greatest band ever doing that. That was amazing that vision and sound and stuff exists, especially when they're doing, all that kind of stuff.
All the little voices.
I like all the
stuff they do. See, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry you have to see like a close up of my schnoz. I was just trying to I actually have a big monitor here, so now I can read the chat and I actually get to see myself on the side. I get a profile of myself. So, yeah, I agree. Like one of the things that really struck me, and are we getting some, anybody else talking about this? Or
yeah. So Kevin says he agrees with me, which is always excellent. I love people agreeing with me. That's lovely. Just seeing them as mates being awesome was awesome. Randy agrees. I've got a noisy cat in the background. Just let the cat out.
Oh, you do the cat thing. So this guy right here, Ja, if you guys know Ja.
Hey, Ja.
He's everywhere. I don't remember the cartoon. What was the cartoon? Savoir faire is everywhere. You guys remember that? That's Klondike Cat. Look at this. Our guy. I'm gonna hop on and shut off. I forgot to have Mark email them. I emailed them the link like 2 hours ago. Anyway, So Ja like watches every YouTuber. I see him comment on everything. He's just like, he really does well to the YouTube community. So I want to give Ja a shout out. But
Hey, man.
yeah, I agree with you. So I've realized I have to look this way. The one of the things that really struck me that I thought was really cool is when it was a Top Camera view, and Paul said, Lennon's late again. And the way he said it was so casual. I'm like, that's John Lennon. He's just calling him Lennon. I can't believe it. That was definitely the coolest thing. The other thing is, too, for those of you, I know most of you that are on this play, I don't know how many of y'all write songs, but, those of you that have ever written a song know that they all come, the good ones or the bad ones, pretty much come the way that Paul did Get Back. You're just strumming and they end up happening, and just some people write really good ones, some people write really bad ones. So I fall somewhere in the middle.
Hey, we had a good question here. Somebody said, Randy said, I want to learn fingerstyle most of all. Hey, Randy, how are you going? Simon here. I'm going to give you a hot tip for some fingerstyle. I know I said I can't do it, but I was just being British. I can do it a little bit. So this right hand is the trick, obviously, right? But the trick of it is to make sure that you have certain fingers sitting on the same strings, because the less far you go, the easier it is. Because if you're, imagine if you're doing this sort of, that's going to be impossible, right? Whereas if you just sit them and you just play. So that is the first tip. And the second tip is just to get it slowly first. So decide what pattern you're going to go for, or read the sheet music or whatever it is. So for example, if I go, my thumb is on the A string, and then 1, 2, 3 on the D, G, and B strings, and I'm going to go pinch. So my thumb and my third finger pinch. Right? So then the next thing is you go pinch, then you get the next bit. So you can go pinch, 1, 2, and then you practice that for a bit. So you go pinch, 1, 2, use a metronome, tick, tock, right? And then you put the other half, pinch, 1, 2, thumb, 3, 1, 2, for example. So pinch, 1, 2, thumb, 3, 1, 2, pinch, 1, 2, thumb, 3, 1, 2. Now, what you saw there is that I use my thumb only on the bass string. What you can also learn is to do this sort of what I call the American thing, which is funny because, and where you move your thumb. Because the thing is, when I learned guitar, I learned classical guitar. So the whole thing was that you just went up and down like this, that kind of thing. You never went
in the grass.
Yes, that's right. You never really did move your thumb at all. Whereas the American thing is where you like Paul Simon, right? He kind of pinch, thumb 1, thumb 2, thumb 1, pinch. Now this time, my second finger is on the B string. My first finger is on the, pinch, thumb 1, yes, unless you're a lefty. It's all right, you can just press a button and switch the camera around. It'll be fine. 1, then you go pinch, thumb 1, thumb 2, thumb 1, pinch, thumb 1, thumb 2, thumb 1. And the trick is just try and get it slowly, and then eventually you'll have it. So there's my 2-minute fingerstyle guitar lesson.
I'll give my 2 cents later. Let's play something, Simon. All right. So now that you've done that, let's follow that up with some music. What do you got for us?
Well, let's play. We're talking about them. The interesting thing with this tune is that I've always taught it like this.
Simon hasn't learned the finger flick.
Now, so I've always taught it like that because I think that's a more useful way of learning it, right? Not that that's how it goes on the record. Now, what Paul McCartney does is he does this kind of, and he does an index finger. Yeah, and then, which is what he does on the record. But the thing is, I don't know. I don't know there's many other songs that do that. So when I'm teaching people that song, I generally sort of go, well, look, you know, we can do that if you like. But I don't know. Is there loads of other songs that do that sort of thing like Paul does?
No, I agree with you. You got to turn your mic up a little bit, Simon. But
Okay,
yeah,
no
I'll let you play in just a second. Yeah, Gabe, go ahead and log on whenever you're ready, buddy. So I do the exact same thing. When I play Blackbird, it's one of the songs that I always play in my sets. I play it the original way with the finger flick. But when I teach it, I always teach it as a Travis pick because it's something that's useful on other songs. If you Travis pick it, you can use it on in a few of the songs. For those of you, excuse me, if you want to get started with fingerstyle, and you have to decide whether or not you want to really get into the traditional fingerstyle, the Chet Atkins, Merle Travis, Tommy Emmanuel, independent thumb fingerstyle. If you want to do that, it's a big commitment. I mean, I would put it almost, as difficult as learning to be a jazz player, to be a seasoned jazz player. It takes a lot of time. I did it about 2 years ago. I took Tommy Emmanuel's classes. So I've been doing this for about 2 years now, and I'm getting decent at it. But then there's also the rock and roll fingerstyle, Dust in the Wind, Landslide, Paul Simon stuff that is a lot more accessible and a lot easier, typically a lot easier to play. I'm going to play 2 tonight that are a little more challenging, but in those songs, Simon gave the key to it. Is you have to be patient. You have to do it slowly. Dust in the Wind is a good one to start with, but before you start learning the left-hand positions, you should literally just keep, doing the pattern. And in that case, it's, 5 and 2 together, and then 4, 3, 5, 2, 4, 3. So you just keep working that. I have a capo on, but you get the idea. Just keep working that.
Yeah.
Until it just becomes second nature, till you don't even have to think about it. Then you can start incorporating the left hand. If you want to get into the more traditional finger style, usually what they tell you is to spend 2 weeks just doing this.
That's right. That's 100%.
Just getting the thumb down, no fingers, and slowly you incorporate the fingers into it. But that's a whole nother thing. We can talk about that offline. Let's let Simon rock out a tune here.
Yeah, so I was going to say with the thumb thing, you're absolutely right with the automatic pilot. You need to be able. It needs to be like you're not thinking about that at all, and because then otherwise you can't do all the other melody parts, which is something that it's not my thing. Okay, so there was a bit of Blackbird we just had. Let's skip to the other bit.
That's version of it.
It's good, isn't it? Blackbird. It's funny. There's these songs that you've taught 8 million times, and that you're never sick of. That is one of those. I'm never sick of that. Because I've been teaching guitar this year. In 2022, I'll be teaching the guitar for something hideous, like 34 years or something.
34 years of teaching. Wow.
So I've taught that song a few times.
Now I know why there's so many crappy players on YouTube.
So what else have I got? That's a good one.
That's not fingerstyle. I'm just going to let you finish. I was just if you want to get me not to play over you, you should just put a capo on, because I've got the second fret capo on. So I'm dying to play Blackbird. I'm dying to do all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, I got the second fret capo on.
Yeah.
All right. So
okay.
I'm going to bust one out, Simon.
You have a go.
So what I'm going to do here, if this works, and nothing ever works, is I actually found a backing track for this. So one of the great songs I think of all time is Salisbury Hill by Peter Gabriel. I think most of you, I'm sure all of you that are on this, all 16 of you that are on this are familiar with the song. So if you listen to the song, first of all, it's played wrong in just about every tutorial. I think the guy, Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, that guy is awesome. He's a Canadian guy. He's just a real phenomenal player. I believe he plays it correctly, but
I tell you somebody else who I think plays it correctly.
Marty Schwartz does not play it correctly, huh?
I play it correctly.
I want to see Simon do the Travis picking, do the actual part.
Man, I haven't played it for about 2 years. I did a video on this about 2 years ago. Salisbury Hill.
I'm gonna watch the video, see how you're doing.
So you'll have to tell me if I've done it right or not.
Yeah,
I bought the sheet music, and
if you have the sheet music, you do it right.
I learned the sheet music.
So let me tell you about this. So that part, which really propels the song, was written by Bob Ezrin in the control room. Peter Gabriel brought the song in. The song's in 7/4 time. And Bob Ezrin and Steve Hunter, who is probably most famous, he played with Alice Cooper, and he also played with Lou Reed. He does that sick solo on the extended Sweet Jane, the live Sweet Jane. I don't know. Most of you probably know that one. That's a pretty famous one. But they were in the control room, and they busted this part out in like 15 to 30 minutes. They had the part, and it's a fairly complex part. So awesome. I'm going to play the background music to it. Let's see if this works, because nothing ever works here. And I'm going to play along with it, and we'll see how that works. So let's get our volumes here. Is that a good volume? Can you hear both?
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do it. We'll do Salisbury Hill now. I missed it up here. Sorry. So that's it.
Hey, that was awesome.
I'll break the part down slowly for you all. It's all Travis picked. See, I keep going. And it's a little tricky because when you get into the verse, you have this, but then the Travis pick reverses. So you're used to going, 5/4, 5/4, but you have to go 5. You go like this, and that's 4/5. So it reverses in each of the verses. So you have to kind of really keep your head on it because you have to keep moving back and forth, between the Travis pick. But it's an awesome part, and I definitely recommend. But if you're going to learn it, whatever level you're at, anybody can learn anything. Just take your time. When I started, I was literally, you can ask Mark or Hilly. He's on here. Mark, what is he? I don't know. He's Anthony Marks. He's one of my students, and I've got him in the Mark Rinaldi. Start slow, snail's pace, and you could do anything.
Yeah. So right.
Yeah, I'll bust out Landside in a little bit for you, unless you might already have that going, Burton, but we'll do that. What do you got?
Yeah, right.
What do you got, Simon?
Yeah, right. I remember. Yeah, right. It's cool. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. It's the whole time. It's Travis pick the entire song.
Yeah. So now we've had some Knopfler chat. Yeah. Let's see if I can play some Knopfler action. So how about this one? And the cool thing about that, I think this is Mark Knopfler is the king of making rhythm guitar playing sound like lead guitar playing. So when you probably get this all the time, Mark. I go to when I had a kid. Suddenly you're in a whole new social world. Hey Trent, how you going? You're suddenly in a whole different social situation, and you meet a whole bunch of people who don't really know you, and you know because of the kids, right? Because the kids know each other. Anyway, and people go, "Oh, what do you do?" And I say, "Oh, I play guitar," and they're like, "Oh, right, okay. What do you for a job?" And I was like, "I play the guitar." And then what happens is that they sort of say, "Oh, what kind of guitar do you play?" And quite often people say, "Oh, do you play lead guitar or do you play rhythm guitar?" Right? Do you get that, Mark?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, but like for me, Mark Knopfler kind of does this great trick where he plays rhythm guitar that sounds like lead guitar. But the thing is, when you dissect it, you realize that D minor, C, B flat, basically like a C sus4, the C, and then he goes F, C. Now, if instead you put this whole kind of chord on, you get D minor. You can see that is now a B flat and A shaped bar chord, first fret, and then you've got that thing. Right, so basically F, C. This is a D shaped bar chord, so F with an A bass, and then C, and then he slides third finger. We've got F, C. So really, he's just playing D minor, C, B flat, F, C, F, C, which is, how awesome is that? So cool. Hey, John, how you going, man? It's so clever. And when you look through the sections that he plays, because he's the rhythm guitar, is his brother at this time? Is his brother at the same in the band at this time before he sacked him? Anyway, so
yeah. His brother, I think the reason they broke up or he left is because he re-recorded. Didn't he record? Somebody out there must know this or can look it up. Didn't Mark record over all his parts? Like he pulled a John Fogerty and just re-recorded his parts.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. So
I did that once to our other guitar player.
I've never done that. But so when you come to the little interludes that he plays in the middle of the, you know, he's playing, and he's just doing these little things, and often they're kind of either arpeggios or parts of the chord. So if even the lead break at the beginning, if you think about your D minor chord, you've got D minor here, and he goes, so you can actually play the whole thing like it's in the chord, because he's playing. You know, so there's loads of situations like that in that song, you know, where he's going, in the meantime, then, right? That
great riffs, yeah. The whole song is laden with great riffs.
A. So he's going sus4, pulls back down, then goes A again. 3 times he plays an A arpeggio, the same A sus4 arpeggio. Or, you know, hey, yeah, I did teach. John's a good guitar player, by the way. He doesn't realize
Fire Hazard. So something interesting about this song, I don't know why I picked this riff, but Fire Hazard says, I've been at Sultan's for like 2 years and still can't get it right. So we're going to talk about something. I'm going to give you guys some free advice, and really try to internalize and listen to what I'm saying. Like, nobody ever learned to play fast by playing fast. And if you're like me, the first 20 years that I played, I'm going to use a particular riff to give you the example. And this is the one that I typically use. If you want to play this riff and it goes like this. Okay, if you want to play that up to speed, I don't even know if I could do it anymore. So close there, maybe not, kind of rough, but so if you want to learn that, the way I used to try to learn that is this, and I'm going to show you exactly what I used to do. I'd go, nope, let me try it again. Nope, and do it over and over, and maybe like 1 set of every 7 times I would get it. Be like, oh, now I know it. No, I don't know it. I got lucky that one time. So I have this rule of 8. If you can't play something 8 times without making a mistake, you don't really know it. And this is my challenge to you. Take this riff, try this riff. If you go like this, excuse me. And what happens if you increase it on the metronome? Just 2 beats per minute. Just 2 beats per minute. You'd be surprised, in about a half an hour, you'll be playing probably and eventually, probably within a day, you'll have it. I mean, depending on, you know, if you're an okay player already, you could do that. I mean, if you're brand new, it takes more time, but just start slowly on any riff, break it down into little pieces, and you literally can play anything. I mean, I've had some of my students, one of my students recently wanted me to teach him the solo to Sweet Child of Mine. There's a really fast part in that. And what I had to do, I had to tackle it by just playing it slowly, you know, a little bit at a time, you know, really just think about that. If you just don't try to rush right into it. Somebody said, Chuck Berry, I did the Johnny B. Good. I'd never played that riff before. We did the video last week. I did the same thing. I went everything in slow motion and built it and built it and built it. In 20 minutes, I had it. What else you got for us, Simon?
So on your slow motion thing, with the thing I would say, I absolutely agree. And I'd add a little bit extra. So if there's a bit that you're going, I don't know, I can't think of, like that Chuck Berry thing, right? Right? And if you can't get that bit, just isolate the bit that you can't get. And it feels painful at the time because you kind of, and you get a little bit frustrated. But if you just slow down, yes, Burton, I saw that about Colin Hay. I'll talk to you about Colin Hay in a second. So, but just get that over, and then put it back in so that.
So you're saying isolate the trouble spot.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, because, you know, let's say it takes you, even if it takes you 10 seconds, right, to play that first 20 notes or whatever it is, right? You are wasting that 10 seconds over and over again because you'll get to the bit that you can't play. And then you'll start again. Whereas actually you're just practicing the mistake.
Right.
Whereas if you practice that,
that was the other thing I was going to say. Muscle memory can be your friend or your foe. If you continue to, I have students that will settle for this, you know, whatever, Sweet Home Alabama, just, you know, this is fictitious, but they'll settle for, and they'll go right on through it. And they're fine with that. You know, you have to find your threshold of what you're okay to play. But if you do that enough times, that's going to be your version of it. You're going to be stuck with that because your muscle memory is going to continue to make those mistakes. I'm going to let you play another song, but Fire Hazard said Life in the Fast Lane is trouble for me. I want to ask you, do you play it like this? Do you play it in the open? Or do you do the... Because if you play it down here, open, it can be a bit of a tongue twister. I learned it that way originally. That's how I played on the 12 string. So I recommend playing it up here on the where it actually is played on the 5th and 7th fret. So, and I do something really unique here. This may help you, Fire Hazard. I actually, instead of just barring, going like this, I actually use both fingers here. I go. It helps me do the bend there a lot easier. Now, even if you're not articulating the bends yet, you know, just this way. And I know why that riff can be difficult. Just like, and the last thing I'm going to say on this is Day Tripper. So it's a simple riff, but here's where a lot of people get, oh, what's happening? There we go. Where people get tripped up is this. The riff goes, excuse me, can't even play that. And here's the thing. The second riff is, and the fourth riff is, it's opposite that. And that's a lot of times where people get hung up, new players get hung up when you're dealing with similar notes in a different pattern. So you have to break things down. Like Simon says, break things down into small chunks. Yeah, don't bar it. Try it with the finger like that. Rewatch this. It also will help you get to that. If you're doing that too, that little, you know what, this now we can't even, now the video is going to get, I didn't monetize it anyway, but Don Henley's going to want an appendage of mine or something, I'm sure. All right, Simon, go for it. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll just repeat what you say there, man. That's totally right. You know, where you're, right? So Fire Hazard said, I've been barring. And yeah, I see that quite a lot. People think because you've got like a lot of, you know, let's say lots of fives in your riff that you think, oh, I'm going to just. Right. But that actually makes things slower because you can move your fingertip faster than the flat of your finger.
That's a great point too. Yeah, it's a great point too.
Right. Anyway, so Burton.
What do we got?
Now,
He's got a capo.
I've got a bunch of lessons on Colin Hay's stuff. Colin Hay was the singer of an Aussie band called Men at Work, and their probably big international hit was Down Under. I come from a land down under.
Great. They had 3 big on the first album and 3 on the second album, right? 6
oh, right.
hits.
So in the UK, they were completely, that was their hit, right?
Yeah, Who Can It Be Now was the big one here, the first big one.
Right. Okay. Well, he is absolutely awesome. I've seen him a bunch of times play sort of solo shows. And there's a place here in Sydney I've been to a few times where I've just gone to see him and he turns up in a guitar and he plays through some amazing, yes, that is another good one, John. He plays through a whole bunch of songs, and he is a great guitar player. He's a great acoustic guitar player, which is, I think sometimes you don't realize how good some of these guys who are the singer are at playing the guitar. So yeah, that's right. So, you know, does he do fingerstyle? I'm not sure he strictly does finger sort of style, but there's that sort of thing, where that is a song called Waiting for My Real Life to Begin, by the way. If you want to check that out, I've actually have a video on that. Oh, look at that, cross promotion. So I've got a video lesson on that. You can check that out on my channel. So, and I walk through how I hear him play that. So it's sometimes with some, particularly the Aussie stuff, it's not like there's, you know, formalized written sheet music for a lot of it, because it's not that it's obscure, but it's like it's not as well known as Sweet Child of Mine.
How do you feel about this, Simon?
Yes, he is Scottish.
Is that true? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's one of these guys who, there's loads of these guys who
Olivia Newton-John too, right? She's not Australian, right?
Yeah, and Cole Chisel. Jimmy Barnes is, you know, he's from Scotland. So anyway, but basically, and Russell Morris is also great. It's funny, my friend Michael Carpenter produced one of Russell Morris's records, and I got to go in and sort of sit and press buttons one day when he was playing, and it's astounding how good he was. This is amazing. When you see these people who are really, really good, like, and you're in the room with them, that is some magical thing that they do. It's awesome. Anyway.
Hey, Simon. Before you start, Orville Gibson is on here, and I got to tell you,
hey, Orville.
Orville Gibson had a guitar mailed from Oregon to Atlanta. I did him a very, very small favor, but I can tell you, let me just say this. The short of it is, if you ever receive a package from Orville Gibson, I guarantee you it will be the most well-packed package. I mean, you could probably get in there yourself and live for several days. So I've got a box going out to him right now, and he gave me some directions on how to do it. It's like Russian nesting dolls. It's like a box inside a box, inside a box, inside a box. And there's like 14 miles of bubble wrap. Anyway, it's a kind of inside
like the Russian dolls.
Do your thing.
Yeah. So that's one of his songs. Another one of his songs, Colin Hay, we're still talking about. Overkill, you know that.
My acoustic set, yeah.
That kind of thing, right?
Awesome.
And he does some cool things when, like, I've seen him play it live a bunch of times. And, you know, obviously he's been playing this song for, I don't know, 40 years or something, right? So he changes it from time to time. That's the thing that always gives me I have a wry smile when I put a tuition video up, and, you know, somebody will say, oh, well, I saw him in 1992 and he did this. And it's like, well, yeah, of course. Why would he play it the same every time? But he does this really cool thing when he gets to the pre-chorus, and you get that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and kind of 80s 1 and 4 thing that loads of songs in the 80s had. Anyway, then you but the pre-chorus, yeah. And so he's basically transformed a section there, which basically the chords is 8 bars, and there's 8 bars, and it's B minor A, right? So that thing, right?
Yeah.
And so instead of that, you get this. Which is super awesome, right? And so all that's happened, he's got a B minor, but he's got the open. He's left those open. So I'm only fretting the 2nd fret of the A string. Yeah, and then a regular A, and then there's he runs down just a little arpeggio. Right?
But that's the riff right there. The bun, and they do it on like
that kind of thing, yeah. And then B minor, and then keep those 2 fingers together. You slide up here. Now, normally, there's an E-shaped bar chord, the 5th fret, but we've got those 2 there. You can hear that that's suspended there, and then that. Awesome, but he actually only has those 2. So I mean, really, it's like a what is that called? A9 sus4. Whew, crikey, that's early in the morning for that. And
well,
yes,
you can call it an A sus2 sus4, right?
Yeah, that's right, which is cool.
Is there a 3rd in there?
There was no 3rd, no.
So just an A sus2 sus4, right?
Yeah. Oh, you call it A sus2 sus4? That's interesting.
I think you could, yeah, right. There's no 3rd in it. I
was like the A9 sus4.
That sounds better. Yeah, it sounds more. Hey, while you're doing your thing, we have to throw something out here to the audience. I want to know, because I know that song was on the 2nd album, which came out around 84. So what I want to know is this riff right here. I never knew. So that's 38 Special, right? So find out if what is it, Caught Up in You or Hold On Loosely, one of those 2 songs. Find out which came first. Did 38 Special rip it from Kottke, or did Kottke rip it from 38 Special?
Yeah, right.
You guys know that song, that 38 Special song, right? Which one is it? Hold On Loosely? You see it all around you.
Oh, right. Similar, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. All right, what you got?
Yeah, so you should check out one of I think there's some bloke called Simon Morell who's got a song on maybe his 2nd record, which is anyway. But I didn't realize that at the time. I think sometimes you write these things and they just come out of you. Anyway, so the drop D thing, you can play that overkill with the drop D, and I think I've seen him do that as well. So that, you know, using lots of 80s sus2 chords, right? Oh, talking about the Beatles documentary. I feel like I have been proven correct, Mark. You'll be pleased to hear. You know, correct? A little while ago we were talking about a thing that I've always had a thing about chords going in and out of fashion.
Right.
And in the first part, which I've only seen the first part, I haven't seen parts 2 and 3 yet. In the first part, Paul McCartney goes, "Oh, we can't use that chord. You know, that chord's gone out of fashion."
Yeah. I thought of you when I saw that, because I know you talk about chords, during certain periods of time.
So awesome. I was like, yes, McCartney, you're right.
Are you all right? So I had a challenge, and I said that I was going to do this 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
And so last night at 3:00 in the morning, I finally decided that I would attempt to play it. So I've got a video for you all here.
Oh, awesome.
And this is my version, one take of Leo Kottke's Vaseline Machine Gun. Now this is slide guitar on the 12 string, and I'll tell you what, it takes longer to tune it than it does to learn how to play it, because it's in B flat open tuning. But I'm gonna let y'all take a look right now. Here is my version of Vaseline Machine Gun. Enjoy. Rock and roll. There you go.
That's so good, man.
I'll tell you the hardest part of that, and then we're going to turn it back to Simon, is I'm not a slide player, but this little first part here where it goes, you have to play the third string open. So you have to keep the slide just on the top two strings. It's really difficult. You have to keep it in even playing. Yeah. And I'll play it slowly. You hear there's a lot of picking going on. It's all pick. Yeah, it's Leo Kottke is unbelievable.
So, yeah, it's really, really amazing, isn't it? Yeah, very good. Very good.
Get the tempo up.
So, yes.
Turn over to Simon again.
Yeah. So, and John just mentioned "Ocean" by John Butler. So, John Butler's an Australian.
I know that one too. I can play that one.
Oh, yeah. So, I taught that too years ago. Sometimes I prepare kids for their 18-year-olds for their final school exams when they take music as an elective, and that's quite often one of the tunes that is chosen by kids because they have to show that they can do stuff on the guitar. And I love seeing, because I can't really, I think the longer I teach, you realize you don't actually have to be able to play it in order to be able to teach it. So, like if you said, "Oh, Simon, play Ocean" by John Butler," I probably couldn't do it now, but I can show you how it works. Do you know what I mean? So, but and it's great to see when, young fellas or young people really get that. It's an awesome tune. Anyway, so put the pick down.
Good. So let's talk about that song real quickly. So one thing in that song, most of you probably know that or know some version of it. And Simon did a really good job at this. When you're playing that one, you have to make sure, like that note, you have to hold that note all the way until you get to the next. So a lot of people do this. You got to hold that one. So you haven't played this in a while, but let me do it again. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So it does the same part over again, right? It just goes back to the A minor. So you do this, and that's where you switch and let go of that note.
Yeah.
And you let go here. Does that make sense? You got to hold on to those notes all the way through. Listen to Paige do it. It's really, it's pretty tricky to do, to hold on to that note, switch the chord, play the first three notes of that chord, then let go of that note. But that's a place where, really paying attention to the legato, to the length of the notes is the part. I mean, you have to do that unless you're Marty Schwartz.
Yeah. So those kinds of things where you're, so there, all that's happening, thumb, 1, 2, 3. This is an A minor 7, so A minor with your pinky on the third string. This is my dominant 7 of the chord. And then off. So we're doing the first two chords at A minor, top, A minor with the G bass. He switches that around, that top riff. So sometimes he plays G, E, sometimes he plays D, C.
There's many incarnations of it.
And then he plays a D with an F sharp bass. But instead of doing that, you're better off doing is hitting the F sharp with your second finger on the low E string. And then you go to a D7.
Yeah, that's how I do it too. Yeah.
And then an F, and then E major. So we've got just like that. You've got to try and let everything ring. So you've got to try and be, like Mark says, like you've got to try and leave it as long as you can.
Yeah, it's that dun, dun.
But everything rings, right?
Yeah.
This
is what I meant. I figured the part now. I haven't played this part in ages, but it's all the way through.
Ring. Yeah.
Until you hit that note. So it sounds like this.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right.
You listen to that, and that note he really enunciates. It's kind of like he does. Yeah. Right?
That's exactly right, man.
Yeah, you played it well. It was good. Cool. All right. So we're going to do real quick here. I did this. I want to show you all some, give a shout out to some people here because I know you all. This guy is probably maybe the greatest fingerstyle player of all time.
Oh, man.
We all know him. And interesting story about this gentleman right here. This is Blind Willie McTell. one of the pioneers of the 12-string. And the Willie McTell Festival, the 23rd annual, was actually held like an hour from my house. And they had a who's who of really good 12-string players. Unfortunately, I was busy that weekend, but they do a celebration. I'm going to try to go next year. And here we've got Mark Knopfler and Chet Atkins, Mr. Guitar, the guy that basically, was the first real guitar hero, even before Chuck Berry. There's Chet in his younger years. There's me on the side there. I didn't realize. This is Lead Belly, another one of the pioneers of of the 12-string and of fingerstyle.
Yes.
Obviously, then you've got like John Fahey. I mean, I missed some people. Leo Kottke, the guy who the picking is named after, Merle Travis. This guy, if you haven't seen him, this guy is ridiculous. Matteo Mancuso. He plays the guitar with all fingers, like a hybrid guitar bass, but he's the one that Steve Vai and Al Di Meola say that they've never seen anybody play the guitar like this guy. I mean, if there's a single guitar player you could say might be the best guitar player in the world, it might be either this guy right here or this guy right here. And then, of course, we've got Lindsay Buckingham, another amazing one.
Have you seen that? I think that's a shot from the video where he does Big Love just by himself.
Yeah, that's a tough one, right? Big
Holy smoke. That is awesome.
So, somebody mentioned Landslide earlier. Landslide is an easy one, right? And then we're going to get to our trivia, and then we're going to close.
Oh, well, man, I've got to say that I've got a bit of a schedule today.
You have more to go?
I've got stuff to go to, man.
Is it time to end?
Yeah, well, we're about 2 minutes to the hour.
All right, so I won't play. I was going to play Never Going Back Again. That was going to be
definitely play that, and then I'm sadly. I mean, you can carry on going, but I have to go.
No, we'll just give here. Let me do Never Going Back Again.
Definitely do Never Going Back, because I think that's amazing. That's a super hard thing to play.
People are still watching. Yeah. So I was playing this song and I was telling somebody, Salisbury Hill is harder than that. That song isn't really that hard. And then I found out that I have this thing called the Amazing Slow Downer, and I didn't realize it saves your parameters. So I actually had been playing it the whole time at like 80%.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, how ridiculously fast it is, but it's let me see if I can get this. This part right here is a tough one. That part's tough because you're playing 1, 2, 3 with your fingers, and you're going. Then you got this part here. Let's see it. I got to get warmed up here. I got this. All right. One more time. One more chance. Got stage fright. I'm really literally freezing up in front of the crowd.
Yeah, you're doing good, man. It sounds good.
All right, next time I will play this in time 100% correctly.
Man,
I promise.
it's so hard. That tune is so hard. I've taught that to a bunch of people, and they think it's going to be this sort of easy because Fleetwood Mac is easy, and no, not easy.
There we go.
Good.
That was terrible. That was literally, I played that like 5 times today, and that was by far the worst I played it. I mean, I played it anyway. It doesn't matter what I did because I didn't.
Good, man. It sounds good. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Anyway, all right. Well, kind of a sour way. So we'll do one trivia question, and whoever gets it wins the prize, and then we're done. So
whoa.
I'm going to do the question, the only one on here that I did not know the answer to. That way I can find the answer. Which goddess inspired, and this is for, what am I giving away this week? I'm giving away, I'll do another $20, $25 Amazon gift card. You guys all, those of you that held out. The which goddess inspired the Rolling Stones logo? The first person to put it in the chat wins $25. I can't believe I blew that. I'm so pissed at myself. I'm gonna go play that. Like, I'm gonna challenge myself to get that perfectly, and I'm gonna post it on video in the next hour. That's what I'm gonna do. You guys stay tuned for that, because I'm really gonna do that. Prove that I can play it.
Good on you, Sandra.
Amanda too. Is that who? Is it Athena? Is that the answer? I didn't know which one it was. That was one of the choices. I have to look this one up. This is like this is the only question out of 20 that I didn't know. All right. What is the Rolling Stones logo? No, it's not. It is not. Keep going. Where I got to get back to my. Nope, it's not the right answer. One. All right, we got 20. Nobody gets it in the next 10 seconds. We're just going to say goodnight. We really appreciate you all. 6. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you all so much. We will see you in 2 weeks. Good night.
Ciao, ciao.